So notice how the sound stopped as soon as I opened the door. At the back of, this is the back of the place we're in, because they're actually working in this pouring rain. But that shows that the machinery is only being used to make sound, because they couldn't actually really be doing that mechanical work when it's turning down rain. But they're making just mechanical sound with the equipment, because that's their main purpose when they're doing this work. It's just a plane going over the roof. But I was just going to come out to see if the dogs there are alright in the rain, because it's pouring right down on top of them and they've only got this little tiny thing there. But I can't get out there myself because it's too wet. I'll get drenched to go out. But the minute I turn the mobile off, they start up with the sound, even in this rain. You might have caught the end of it just barely. They're extremely, these dead dark Android androgyne beings, which are really Lucifer's disciples. They are extremely, extremely cunning, and they use their technology to be able to hide. Like I say, when I make the video, turn the record knob on, as soon as I do, they've been turning the sound instantly off. And then as soon as I turn the mobile off, then they turn the sound back on, which makes it impossible for me to, of course, show the sound. But that shows you how, how closely connected to me the technology is. But I can't show that either. I can show it sometimes, occasionally, but not most of the time. I wonder how those dogs are in that rain next door there. See, it's all pouring down rain. It's coming through that little roof part there. But just endless construction, but it just goes on and on. You know, construction jobs that should even be done in a much quicker time are basically slowed up to where they can keep the sound anti-life program going against myself around in this neighbourhood and all over the suburb of Leichhardt. It's the same thing. You can't walk more than, usually as soon as you come out your door, before you even get down to the end of the dead-end street where I live, which is only a very small street, very tiny, some of the sound starts up. The vehicles pull in and out, when they couldn't possibly all live on the street, and they don't. But all these sorts of things, you realise that the whole suburb is really just a total camouflage, that most people are not actually living in most of the houses that they go into, because basically it is these beings, and they're on the brink of extinction. So it's basically these beings having access to every single thing in the suburb, because they create the layout, they actually create the suburb. And it's designed so that they're always in my line of sight and always in my presence, so that they can have their transhuman mind control experimental program being put onto myself and other humans. See, the dogs are out there in the rain. Yes, they are. They're out there in the rain. And they'll be out there in the rain if it's cold and dark all through the night too. So that's at least they're getting a bit of food, I think, anyway. Something. Yeah. Did you? hear the way they talk to those dogs. You know, like they talk very disrespectfully, loud and very angry at the animals too, which is very mentally disturbing for me to hear, because the poor things, they're only puppies and they're two dear older dogs that mated and produced the puppies. They're the most passive, docile dogs, and yet they're being subjected to all this antagonism around with being out in the cold and the wet, but also the oppressive Inner West Council work programs that are going on right next to them with jackhammers and all sorts of things going all the time. The aeroplanes are the least of the problem, going over the roof now, but they're the least of it. Even though from my point of view they are a danger in the sense that they are being used for many ulterior motives against yourself, you know. So I'll just fold up here because I don't want to get too close to the android workforce or to the people around when they're obviously very, very, very angry and antagonistic towards, you know, like the dogs are eating that stuff in the rain. I don't think I can get there to show it. See, they're howling while they're trying to eat because they're in distress because it's so bloody wet. Oh, I can't show it because I'm getting drenched myself. Sorry, but then, oh, jeez. Oh.